Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe It's Not the Mouse. This is just a special side episode of sorts where me and my guest host are just going to be ranking Pokemon starters because there's a new Pokemon game coming out. People love Pokemon and I love Pokemon, so it's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's Babi.
What?
It's Babi.
Okay,
It's Babi.
she's Babby. I don't know that you were named Babby. You
She.
should have mentioned that.
It's on the name. It's on the Zoom. It's right. It's Babi Whiskey.
I thought it was just a nickname. I didn't know that that was what you were going by.
Damn. No one's gonna care. It's fine.
So, in any case, we got a few cheers here for Pokemon starters. We got our instant choice, give it some thought, if I have to, and should have been wild. Basically, instant choice, they're the Pokemon that we like the most, the ones that just by looking at it, we kind of just wanted already. Give it some thought are the ones where it's like, we like them, but we take a second or two to figure out whether or not we actually want that one to be our starter. If I have to, these are pretty much the ones that if I've ever used them, they're pretty much ones that I only do because I have to complete the Pokedex or, specifically doing like some kind of run, like where it's I'm playing with other people and they've already chosen the other starters. That's pretty much what it is. Should have been wild. Pretty much these are Pokemon that, yeah, they really should have been more like the typical Pokemon that you can find in the wild, not really a starter. Like they definitely aren't the greatest when it comes to their designs or their use or
Yeah,
any of
nothing
that.
to call home.
And that's pretty much what it comes down to. For the most part, I just want to make it clear that in fairness, I do actually like all the starters that we've had. Is just that some of them definitely are not as great as other ones, and you'll see the ones that definitely make that mark. Because at least for me, I don't know about you, I kind of feel like at most two, maybe three of them land on that last spot. Most of them will land on either the first or second.
Yeah. All right.
So
I guess let's get started with the most recent
yeah, so
starters, the ones that just came out since there's not much about them.
yeah, so pretty much how I'm basing my stance on each one comes down to design, how I've used them in games, and just how well they perform. Since the newest guys haven't really come out yet, it's kind of unfair to rank them based on all the other criteria. So this is mainly going by just design. So yeah, we'll start off with those. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to start off on this?
Um, I mean, we can just talk over each other, honestly, because I think honestly, this guy,
Yeah,
look at him. He looks like an apple. He's so cute. Look at him.
yeah.
Shaped like a
So for those of you who aren't too deep into the Pokemon stuff, that would be the fire starter of the upcoming game, Coco. And yeah, he's honestly the one I want to get the most. I don't know what exactly, of course, at this time.
Yeah, who knows what they're gonna evolve into.
Oh, okay. Who knows what they're ever going to evolve into? So honestly, I'm kind of expecting it to be either a fire dragon or maybe a fire ghost based on the design and what people have hinted at. I kind of would like if it was like a fire electric, given that it's got the little yellow piece on top. And I know that when it comes to a lot of Spanish lore, crocodiles tend to have control over like lightning and stuff like that. But I doubt that's what they're gonna go with. On second place for me specifically, I would go with Sprigatito. That one would be maybe to give it some thought spot just because it's not the one that I automatically went with on this one. It's an adorable little guy. I don't know what it's going to turn into. A lot of people are hinting at a grass fairy, which I think would be kind of cool, but I don't know. It's not something that I haven't seen enough of that doesn't make it that makes it too how would you say I guess exciting. I don't know. What do you think on the little weed cat?
He's really fluffy, but if it came down between him and Lit, go for a Litten.
Right.
So he's obviously not my first choice. So I'd probably have some thought too. Like if someone had already gotten, for what's his name? Fuecoco?
Fakoho.
Yeah. Then I'd probably get this one.
And then the last one is Quaxley, which for that one, I'll still put it in the give it some thought spot just because it's a cute little thing. I will say that in some respects, it kind of makes me feel like I should put it down lower to the should have been wild because it just looks like a typical duck water Pokemon that we've seen before. Like there was the one from the fifth generation, the I'm forgetting what its name is, but
The swan looking one?
you will the pre-evolved form to that thing. Ducklet, I think it is. It's
Yeah.
called. But at the same time, it's such a cute little thing that oh boy, you're searching it.
Yeah, I am. I got a fact check. Yeah, look at him. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
guess he could have been wild. As cute as he is.
but at the same time, since again we haven't seen enough, I'm willing to put it bumped up to give it some thought, just because it is such a cute design, and maybe the follow ups will kind of rectify that. I know a lot of people are expecting it to be a water fighting type, which not the most exciting type since we've seen a lot of those before. But at the same time, just the ideas that could come from that, like if it's supposed to be like a captain Pokemon, it would be kind of cool. So I'll bump it up for that for now.
I hope it comes out very flamboyant because it's got that like really fancy hair.
Yeah, make it
So
like a Scarlet Pimpernel kind of Pokemon.
yeah,
I mean, the name of one of the games is already Scarlet anyway, so I don't know.
true.
That's my thing. We're gonna go backwards. I don't know if you want to start off with the original Kanto starters or you want to go with the like the Let's Go ones, just because it kind of it's just two of them.
Um, I think like the first starters are like iconic and like no contest. So I think we should start from like the end and then go back in time.
So you want to go pretty much from Gen 8 all the way down to Gen 1.
Yeah,
All right, so Gen 8, let's start off with the grass starter. Shoot, I'm
Grookey.
blanking out his name. Groki. And
Grookey.
it's kind of funny because that's the one that I automatically gravitated towards. I honestly love monkey Pokemon, so that was an instant yes to me. I love the final evolution to it where it becomes a drummer. I know some people didn't really like the idea of that, but I'm like, look, they already kind of gave you the hints to start with him having the little stick that he was playing with, and of course it just works well with the Galar settings. It's supposed to be the UK, and we got a lot of British drummers, so I like it on that front. Yeah, it's an instant choice for me. The only thing that would kind of bump it down to the lower lot would just be that even though it's great that even the final evolution is great. It's just that since it's just a grass type, I know it's definitely one of the ones that would probably be on the lower or weaker tiers when it comes to the competitive scene. But then again, I am not really going by the competitive scene, so it's an instant choice for me.
Yeah, honestly, I was really surprised by the evolutions because if I would have known that Sobble turned into that really skinny twink looking thing, then I would have obviously gotten Grookey because the name's cute and the evolutions are cute. And look at him. He's a monkey. Look, he's like holding out his little hand. You just touch it. Grookey is an instant choice. 10 out of 10.
Right. So next up would be Score Bunny as we go with the fire starter second. And I don't know if I were going purely on the first and maybe even the second stage, it would be an instant choice. The last one is where it kind of loses me a bit. I mean, it is great that they also have it being like another British based kind of celebrity thing with it being a soccer player, but it's just so plain, and even more so than Grookey. I'm like, this is one that definitely should have been more than just one type. Like I know people are tired of the whole firefighting type, but it kind of feels like that probably would have benefited it a bit more, especially given that with the soccer motif, it just feels like you could have given it a lot of foot based moves, which then puts it in a fighting type. But yeah, so that's definitely in the second tier. Like give it some thought, just because it's good, but it doesn't really live up to its full potential by the end.
So would it be in if I have to, or
I would
because
put
it's
it in
not bad?
I would put it in give it some thought, just because the first stage and the second stage are really good, like design wise. I just feel like the last one is where it kind of loses me a bit. I don't know about you on that front.
I mean, I didn't mind the final evolution. He looked very flamboyant, like a lot of soccer players, but I wouldn't gravitate towards that. So I'll leave it here and give it some thought.
So, which marking would you have put it at?
If I have to, like, it's not bad design wise or evolution wise, but it's also not like it's not like good. Like At least the
Right.
ones in the second tier are really cute, but like
Right.
it's whatever.
Right. Okay. I mean, I guess I because I see what you're saying, and it also kind of comes back to my own disappointment. So I guess yeah, maybe if I have to, would be a good spot to put it in.
There you go.
Which
That's
brings us
cool.
to the last starter, which I mean, I don't know if this would be controversial for anyone, but I would honestly put it in the if I have to, even ignoring how the final stage looks like, which I like the idea that they had that they wanted it to be like a James Bond spy type because again that's another thing that is really big in Britain. I mean they're known for their spy features, but it's such a boring design the way they went about it. The only thing that's kind of cool about it is the fact that he uses his finger to shoot out like water
Yeah, it's
bullet
like a finger
shots,
gun.
which I remember someone mentioning like, oh, they ever make like another Pokemon Legends type game, they could easily have it set like in Unova in the Wild West and have Sobble be like one of those starters there and make him more like a cowboy. And I think that would be kind of cool, but we're going at this from what's actually available. And yeah,
Yeah,
Sobble
it's not about
is
potential. It's about what we have. This
and
bubble really disappointed me.
yeah,
Like
like
he's so cute
mm-hmm.
and interesting because it's a chameleon and he's a crybaby and he's adorable. But like once it evolved, it was like none. It wasn't. It didn't meet my expectations.
Which that's
It
the
didn't
other
meet the
thing.
cut.
Yeah, like that's the other thing. Since it's a chameleon, and even that initial trailer kind of emphasized the fact that like oh he could blend into stuff. It makes sense for him to turn into a spy, but they don't even take advantage of the fact that he could blend into stuff. So it's just kind of boring. And I mean, even going beyond that, I was just like design wise, it's just okay. I mean, I know a lot of people love Sobble the most based on that initial trailer, but to me, it was always the one that I just gravitated to the least. So for me, it's a definite if I have to.
Yep, agreed.
So next up, we go into the Alolan starters. And specifically, our first one is the grass type Rowlet. And I don't think anyone's going to argue with it being an instant choice Pokemon. Um, Honestly, it's just adorable. At first glance, it's a little weird to me because it's one that doesn't really have a lot of green to it. And not that it needs to be like a full on green Pokemon, but I've always been kind of like I always tend to gravitate more towards the Pokemon where they have more of the color of whatever type there are. Especially for the starters, because it just feels like that really shows off what they are. But I don't know, with Rowlet, it's just a really great design, and even with it just having the little leaves on its little like bow tie or whatever it's supposed to be, it just perfectly shows off what it kind of is. It gets a great final evolution with Decidueye, and even though I didn't like it as much when it came to the just Arceus version where they turned it into a grass fighting type, I did enjoy at least the way they designed it. So yeah, this is definitely a top tier Pokemon.
Definitely. And it's such a simple design too. Like look at him. He's so round.
Yeah,
Like he's shaped like a friend. He's a he's so cute.
I don't know if you had.
I got nothing bad to say about him. All I can say is that I think this was my first Pokemon, like the first game I bought that I didn't borrow from a friend. And
Right.
this is like the first Pokemon that I started my adventures with. It's such a good Pokemon.
So next up we have Litten, who, funny enough, this is another one that I would kind of put in the instant choice. At first, I was kind of more towards give it some thought because I wasn't too big on, like when I first saw the Incineroar design, and I thought it was kind of funny that they made it a fire dark instead of a firefighting because it's like it looks like a firefighting, but I
Yeah, because it's a
guess
luchador.
yeah, and I guess the way they explain it, like, oh well, it's supposed to be more like a heel type because there's the whole thing with luchadors where you got the guys who tend to act bad, in wrestling matches who are known as like the heel wrestlers. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of get it on that point. It still feels kind of like they only did that just because they wanted to avoid doing a firefighting because of how much controversy there is on that by having it happen like 3 times in a row. But honestly, it's a really good design. If it wasn't for the fact that Rowlet is in this generation as well, this would be the one that I gravitate towards right away. I mean, when it came to like the Ultra Moon this is the one I went with since I already had Rowlet and the other one. So it's definitely something where I went with right away. And of course, with the appearance in Smash, it just made the character even more popular.
Definitely. I think at first glance, when the game first came out, it didn't really catch my attention because it was just like a cat. And I did fall in love with the evolution in Sonora because it's a luchador. He fights for the kids. He has so much personality. And if it wasn't for the Super Smash Brothers series, I don't think I would probably put in the give it some thought. But thanks to all this backing and it being in the game and like what it starts off with and what it becomes, it's a really good Pokemon. So it's an instant choice if Rowlet wasn't around. Look how edgy he is. He kind of looks like Shadow the Hedgehog. So instant choice.
And then we got everyone's least favorite of this generation, Poplio, who I don't know, I kind of feel a little bad for because it is a cute design, and I do like the final evolution, especially because it's one of the rare ones where, especially now that with a lot of these Pokemon designs, more specifically on the starters, where they try to give it like some personality, some character instead of it just being a wild beast. It's one of the few where it's like, it leans more towards the feminine side. Since a lot of these often tend to lean towards more male characteristics. So it is great in that regard, but it is one where I'm like, I don't know, it's not one that I get right away. I did end up using it in game, but it was just more or less just because like one, complete Pokedex, and two, just because it's like, okay, it's a good design, but nothing too special. It's a high if I have to, low give some thought. So whatever you lean towards more, I'm definitely putting it on either one.
I think it kind of falls into the same issue that Score Bunny did, where I don't know, like it's not a bad design, it's not a bad Pokemon, but it has so many like it's been overshadowed by the other two
Yeah.
that I kind of don't want it on my team. But like if I have to, sure.
Right.
Honestly, I'd probably get it if it had like a little clown hat, but that's just me. That's like side note.
Right. I mean, like I said, for me, it really falls somewhere in the middle of the two. Like it's a high if I have to, low give some thought, and a large part of that is because the other two are so good. It kind of brings it down by that much. So yeah, if I have to, I guess it's the perfect spot for it, just because it really kind of fails in that regard.
Maybe
Uh,
we should change this to like it's not bad, but dot dot dot. Because I feel like that's what this is turning into.
uh,
I mean, if I have to, but
I kind of feel like that would probably be a separate category, but I don't know. I guess the reason why I go with if I have to on the name was just because it really is like the Pokemon where we normally don't gravitate towards unless we kind of have to get them just because we're trying to complete the Pokedex or whatever, I don't know.
oh, I get it. I get it.
So next up would be the Kalos region, and we're starting off with the grass type, and he's a definite.
No.
I
Sorry.
mean, okay, I guess that technically is true. I mean, look, I'm gonna say this right now about shoot, what's his name?
Chespin.
Chespin. Chespin is a fine-ish design, and I gotta be honest, like if this was a wild Pokemon, this was like your Rattata or Zigzagoon or something like one of those early route Pokemons, which is what it kind of looks like. Honestly, it would probably be one of the best ones and one of the ones that I would actually get at the start on my team, especially with how it evolves into a grass fighting, which is not the greatest typing, but it is at least something interesting for it.
Okay.
Uh, but it's easily to me the weakest design that they've ever done for any of these starters because it nothing about it really screams grass starter aside from the fact that it has like a green hoodie, which even that is kind of weird. Like it almost feels less like something that's actually supposed to be on its body and more like something they just attached at the very last minute because they couldn't figure out what kind of grass starter they had, and they're like, well shit, we have this rat Pokemon, fuck it, it's gonna be in the early stage, you might as well just put it on there. The evolutions don't do it much favor because you got the second stage, which is like just this giant ball thing.
Yeah, it's just like a ball with arms. Not
Uh,
very impressive.
yeah, and then the second, the final evolution is like I mean, it's kind of all right, but it's also not a very interesting one, even beyond that standard. So it's definitely one that I would put in the should have been wild spot. Um, I guess since we have an extra spot that says nah, man, we could put it right there. But yeah,
Nah, man.
it's one that I've never really liked. I mean, I eventually did get one just for completion's sake, but it wasn't even something where I even bothered taking the time of starting up the game new or anything like that. It was just something where I was like, okay, let me just trade around and see if it pops up, and eventually it just came up. So it's yeah, it's definitely the one that I'm like, I do not like the starter. It's just ugly.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought up the fact that like if it would have been a wild Pokemon like a Rattata or like I don't know, like
Like
Gene or
Zigzagoon.
something. Yeah, or Zigzagoon. I love Zigzagoon, but like when you put it like that, now that you bring up Zigzagoon, it's like nah, man. Even if he was out in the wild, he'd probably be like experience farming or something.
Yeah,
But it's not my first choice or my last choice. Sorry, bud. Nah, man.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst design. It's just in terms of just starters, it's definitely like no.
Yeah.
Which then brings us to the fire type,
Oops.
Fennekin, which I don't know. I kind of want to put it in the if I have to spot, because it's one that I often forget about as well. But looking at it right now, it's like it is a cute design. The second stage is definitely a good one too. The third stage, I don't hate it as much as a lot of people seem to, but for being a fire psychic type, it's definitely one where I don't really care too much about.
That's true. I mean, honestly, I don't mind it. Like compared to all the other designs, kind of like Gardevoir or the evolution of what's his name? Poplio blah, blah.
Poplio.
Yeah. Like even though it has a lot of feminine features, it could still be seen as like a wizard or something.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. It was my X and Y starter back in the day, so I kind of have like some nostalgia riding on it. So I'm gonna put it and give it some thought.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
Because compared to
it's
the other ones,
yeah.
it's not the best, but also like it's not bad. Like I like it. It's cute.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, for me, like it's definitely one where I don't really have much against it. Like even though a lot of people seem to hate its final form, I'm just like, I mean, it's fine. It's just not one
Because
that I
people
remember too
hate
much
women,
about.
bro. They're like, woman,
Maybe
forget about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Redacted.
gave it some thoughts. It seems fine. I mean, for me, it's on the low end of that, but it's higher than if I have to. And plus, with this being the generation with Chespin in it, I mean, it kind of has to go into the second spot in a way. Which then brings us to the final one of this, which is Froki, who for me
Broken.
is an instant choice.
Nah, man. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Why?
mean,
Why?
okay, one, it's really adorable. I like the whole frog thing. I like how it has like its little glasses right there. Well, at least that's what it looks like. I like the follow up evolutions, especially Greninja. I mean, I get why this has become one of the most popular Pokemon around. It's one of the few starters that could rival even like Charizard in terms of popularity, and I get it. The only thing that's always been kind of lacking for me is that at least in my initial playthrough of X and Y, or rather Y, since I had Y. With Froakie, the only real thing is just that Greninja is definitely one of those glass cannon kind of Pokemon where it's like it's got a lot of good things going for it, but it was one that often ended up sending me to like the Poke Center right after a battle just because it would take that much damage. But I still put it an instant choice. I mean, when they gave it the Ash Greninja boost and Sun and Moon, it made it a lot better. And of course, its appearance in Smash Bros is great. It's definitely one of my favorite Pokemon to use in those games. So I'm instant choice on this one.
It's whatever. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucking love frogs,
Yeah,
but like this one's it's got a bud on its nose. But I
with the
see what they're
glasses.
going with. It looks like. Have you seen those old Japanese cartoons where they have like the thief and he
Yeah.
has like a bag on his back and he ties it to his nose.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of. And I mean that in a good way because it's kind of cute. But I don't think it'd be an instant choice for me. Um, but if you say so, I feel like Greninja really brings it up there because he looks really freaking cool. Like
Yeah.
he has like that's like the peak of design right there.
I don't
So you're
know.
only there because of Greninja, buddy. But if it was up to me, you'd be right here.
With that, we go back to Unova, and we're starting off with Snivy, who I know a lot of people love this design. It was like the most popular one back when they first announced the games. Like they called it like Smugleaf or whatever. I don't really care for this one. It is fine, and I will say that the final evolution has grown on me a bit. Where it's kind of regal, and once I finally realized like, oh, it has like its little arms that it kind of makes it look like he's kind of like this regal, rich Pokemon. I do enjoy it on that front, but it's just one where, at least for me, I've always been kind of like, well, what am I exactly supposed to be looking at? Like, it's only until like the final evolution that it becomes clear that it's supposed to be a snake, and I think that kind of hurts the starter for me, just because the fact that it has like the legs and stuff like right away, it feels like it really should have just started off as a snake body from the beginning, and that would have made it a little bit better. I don't know, that just feels like something that they should have lost during the planning stages. I kind of put it in the if I have to. Yeah, I guess that's where I'd leave it at. I can't say it should have been wild, because it at least looks more like a starter than something like Chespin. So yeah, I'd put it in the if I have to.
Yeah, it does have that starter look, but I think the design's kind of boring. It's kind of whack. Sorry. Like I never even thought about like choosing it at all. And sure, he's like smug, but like you could get other smug Pokemon that look better than this. Like this is just like a whack ass leaf.
Which then leaves us to Tepeg, who,
Yes.
again, I know a lot of
No,
people.
he is an instant choice. He is so cute. Look at his ears. Look at the tail. He is like, this is something that you'd want on your team because he's gonna become your best friend. And that final evolution, holy shit, it's so beautiful. Like it's just like this giant boar. And I'm not being biased because I'm a boar, but like he looks so cool. And I guess he's the last fire fighting type that we have
Yeah,
in these generations, right? Let me see.
yeah, that would be the last one.
Yeah, he's just firefighting, and you get that like imperial look and that the flames on his shoulder. Oh my god! Like instant choice for me. You can't convince me otherwise.
Oh, okay, so uh, before I was interrupted, I was gonna
Sorry.
say that I know it's what I'm gonna say is very unpopular, because a lot of people tend to hate on him, just because by this point, people were really tired of the firefighting stuff. I wouldn't go as high as the instant choice, but I would say at the very least like a high, give it some thought. So whatever, I leave it at instant choice. I guess it's just still, I still had it high on give it some thought. Yeah,
I'll leave
I
it like
think.
on a low instant choice since I think highly of him, and he's in the high. Give it some thought, so he's kind of like in the in between.
Yeah, because it is a really cute design, and I do like the final evolution. Like, I get why people were tired of the firefighting stuff, because it's like we've done it before, but at the same time, it's one of those things like, well, if it works with the design, it kind of feels like it should be there. And yeah, like again, I get it. It was tiresome, but after years away from it, it's still like a really good design for it. It's a really good Pokemon, because I did use it for some fights, and yeah, it's just one that I'm like, it really should get better treatment that a lot of the Pokemon fans have given it, because I get it. It was annoying to see that in a row, but we've gone past that. It's time to reevaluate this little guy.
Yeah, and like one of the first gyms in Black and White is a normal type gym, and having a fighting type that early in the game is bussin', like 10 out of 10. because I don't know why. I found it to be the hardest gym to beat, and just having Tepig by my side really helped me at least get past that threshold.
which leads to our last one, which is Oshawott. And
He's
that one's the
adorable.
instant choice for me. I know this was the one that people hated the most on like the initial review when it was just like, okay, these are the new starters. I always thought it was super adorable, so it always surprised me that this is the one that people hated so much. But I know people have turned around on it, and I know that's partially because of its final stage, which whether
Samurott?
it's Samurai, which is whether it's in its regular Unova uh starter form or the Legends Arceus version. I think it's great, even though the Legends Arceus is one of the more boring designs. In terms of just how little they changed, but it's still a great design, so it's not like I could complain. Realistically, it's kind of weird to me that it is an instant choice in that regard, though, just because as much as I love the Samurai design, it kind of breaks one of the rules that I normally have for myself when it comes to a lot of these starters, where I tend to prefer them when it looks like something that you could believe came out of whatever starter it was from, because Samurott is definitely one of the most different looking starters from going like first stage to final stage, but it's such a great design, and Oshawott is a very cute design. I can't really complain on that front.
Yeah. Sorry, like I have nothing to say. He's just so cute and charming and polite that like you just can't get mad at this guy. Like I don't know why they would hate him. Like look at him. It looks like an ice cream cone. He's got his little shell, and I don't know. Look at those soft eyes. Look at that. Very cute. 10 out of 10. Instant choice. Oshawott. Like I'm not even looking at the final evolution. I'm looking at this guy.
Yeah.
These guys are like best friends.
So that brings us to Sinnoh and Turtwig.
Oh,
Uh,
Turtwig, here he is.
you know, I do find it cute, and I do like the final evolution. I want to go nom, man.
I know. I'll put him here
Uh,
for now.
yeah, that might actually be the right spot for it because, like I said, I do find it cute, and I do like the final evolution, both in concept and in design. But it's never one that I ever really bothered going towards, and it's just one of the more forgettable starters, and I'm not sure why, because again, it has a great final evolution. When they did the live action Pokemon movie, it has a very memorable scene with that Pokemon, but um, yeah, it's just never really impressed me in game or anything. So I kind of have to go with it if I have to, despite how much it's weird saying that.
Yeah, cause he is cute, and I don't know if I can convince you, but I honestly think that he should have been like a wild Pokemon, cause he kind of reminds me of that iceberg Pokemon and
Or the
Trapinch.
Avalog.
So like something you'd see in the wild, or like Crustle, where it looks like its evolution looks like a tectonic plate or something. So like this one as a starter, it's kind of weak compared to everything else. But if it would have been a wild Pokemon, I think it would be like a fan favorite.
I kind of get that. I don't know. It's kind of hard because I do think it does look like something appropriate for a grass starter. Um, but yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like if it was a wild Pokemon, it probably would have been much more popular.
Because I wouldn't, if I have to, I would probably be like, I want one of the other ones. But if it was a wild Pokemon, now that's a different story. Because if you see this in the wild, you'd be like, that thing is so fucking cute. I'm gonna catch it.
yeah, and it kind of
But
reminds me of
like if you have it here and you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the rabbit.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. And also because, looking at it more right now, it kind of reminds me of, shoot, I'm forgetting the little water turtle one that we got from the eighth gen.
Oh, the one that bites with the tooth?
Yeah, the one that turns into Dreadnought.
Yeah, he's cute.
It kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know. I still feel like it should be an if I have to, but I get what you're saying, and it definitely would have benefited if it was just a wild Pokemon. So yeah, in that regards, I guess yeah, it should be in the wild area, which leads us to Chimchar,
Look at him.
and
So cute. He's monkey.
that's an instant choice for me. I know a lot of people, might feel differently, and because I know a lot of people only like Chimchar mainly because Diamond and Pearl kind of screws you into having him since there's no fire Pokemon that you can get easily within the overworld until pretty much towards the end of the game. So you kind of have to choose them. But even ignoring that front, I guess I would still put it as the instant choice. One, because upon first seeing them, that's the one I automatically gravitated towards. Two, it's got a great final evolution, and I like that it's based on Journey to the West with Sun Wukong.
Oh my god, the Monkey King. How did I not see that?
Wait, you seriously didn't know that?
No. Oh, the final design. Sorry. I was looking at this one. Yeah, the final design, Monkey King. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sorry.
and yeah, I know it's annoying because it's a firefighting, but I don't know. It's still a really good typing for this, and it's just an all around cool design.
Yeah, he's a monkey. Look at those big ears. We should have more big ear Pokemon. I feel like him compared to the other starters on his gen, this is the most interesting design.
Yeah,
And I think the final evolution also caught my eye. The same reason that Embor caught my eye, because it looks very like Imperial or like Eastern
yeah,
and Monkey King-ish. This is the strongest design so far in that generation.
yeah. So which leads into Piplup, and this one's uh
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a low give some thought, high if I have to, because I think it's a really cute design for the starter. I know a lot of people do like the final stage. I kind of don't. I like the typing it has. The water steel is an interesting typing, but as a design, it's kind of boring. It's trying to be like this regal kind of Pokemon, but it doesn't really fulfill that. Like I know this isn't the same generation, but I think something like Superior does the whole regal look a lot better if you wanted to go with that whole thing.
that's true.
Even and within its own generation, you have like the Infernape who I think does it better too. Even though that one's not really trying to go for like the whole regal look, but it has that a lot better than Empoleon, who to me has always just looked like a rough idea of what its final evolution could have been.
Yeah, it just looks like a constipated penguin. I didn't like the final evolution for this one. It's too stiff. Like compared to like a monument, like a moving tree
Yeah,
or a tectonic plate, and like this Monkey King looking guy, like this Emperor Penguin looking ass. That was really boring. It really fell flat. And I kind of feel bad for putting him here, but I still stand by my choice. He would have been a really cool wild Pokemon, but if I have to, I might get a Piplup because it looks cute, but everything else is kind of lacking for me.
so with that, now we're down to Hoenn, starting with Trico, who I put that as a high, give some thought, instant choice. Mainly because like technically I should have it as an instant choice because that's the first one I always go for when it comes to this region, whether it was in the original games or in the remakes. What makes me put it down to give some thought is that it kind of flops in its final stage. Like it has a really good starter. It's a really cool yet cute design. The second stage is a great follow up to that. And then we get to the final stage, and it's like it's not horrible, but it's kind of boring in comparison to its previous form. So that's what makes me put it on to give it some thought.
Yeah, I've never had a Trico on my team, but I do like that it stayed with the gecko motif.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool looking, but like it kind of looks like Yoshi, so that's why I didn't put him in if I have to. And I love Yoshi, so I'd put him in a high. Give it some thought.
Like I said, it probably should have been instant. Well, would have been an instant choice for me, just because it technically is the first one I always go for. But because it has such a lame final evolution, it's kind of disappointing in that regard. Then we got Torchic, who
He's cute. I think Blaziken is one of the most popular evolutions in this gen compared to like is it Sceptile?
yeah, Sceptile would be the final.
Sceptile and then Marshtomp.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Hey, where would you put this?
I kind of put it into give it some thought. It's also here's the thing.
And
It kind of has. I don't know how to say it because on the one hand I do like the Blaziken design. It kind of reminds me of Oshawott, where my problem is that it doesn't really look like something that came from its initial design. But I'm less forgiving towards Blaziken than I am to Samurott, just because it's one with Blaziken, it doesn't even feel like it's the same basic concept that it starts with. Like at least with Oshawott to Samurott, it is supposed to be doing like a whole samurai thing from the beginning, so at least there's that connection. Blaziken just always kind of felt like okay, we could have figured out a design for this final evolution, so here you go. It's kind of bird-like, so that kind of fits it, even though it doesn't look like anything from its previous stages. Combusken, I know a lot of people think it looks weird. I think it looks fine, but it's still kind of goofy looking.
yeah, because at least that one looks like it would evolve into a Blaziken.
But
Look at this guy.
yeah, I would put it and give it some thought, just because it is a cute design, but it never really had much strong cohesion in its various stages. Which I know some people will probably hate me for saying that, just because I know it's the most popular firefighting Puma, but that's mainly because it's the first one that they did. So I feel like a lot of people overlooked that for it. Yeah, it's a give it some thought for me.
Yeah, I probably have to think about this one. I don't know, the look alone, like it just looks like a baby chick, and I think Piplup looks cuter than this, but its evolutions are where it really shines. So I'll put it in a low, give it some thought.
Right. And that leads to Mudkip, which
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because this is the one that I hated the most when I first saw it. But
No.
wait, hold on.
No, yeah, I got you.
But it has grown on me since. I don't really use it in games all that much, just because, like I said, I always go for Trico, despite the fact that I know I don't really like the final stage. I would still put it and give it some thought, but I'll let it be on the instant choice, because at least if I were looking at this from now, without any knowledge of any of the follow-up evolutions, this would definitely be the one I would gravitate towards the most if it was something that was coming out now. And at the very least, it kind of has the strongest cohesion in terms of evolutions in this generation. Like Marshtomp and Swampert aren't exactly my favorites in any gen, but at the very least, it always looks like, okay, this is a logical way for this thing to grow up. It's got a great typing. So yeah, overall,
it's a good evolution tree.
Yeah, it's a good evolution tree, which is something that I can't really say for all the other two, like with Trico, where it kind of fumbles in the last place, and then Torchic, where the evolutions, fine as they are, have never felt like they were each a part of each other. So in that regard, I give it a low instant choice.
I don't know, man, because like I would put it a higher instant choice, but we'll organize these at the end, because Mudkip is really cute, and like the whole thing's on the cheeks is really cute, and even the evolutions are really solid. I feel like it's the most useful Pokemon,
right,
compared to the other two, because I think Trico stays grass, and although it's like firefighting, like there's still plenty of ways to counter that. But if you have a water and ground type, like you can't use your electric type to defeat it, and then you can't use a water type for the ground type. So it's such a good Pokemon, competitive wise, and like I don't know, I love Mudkip, and I'm not gonna go into that weird ass meme that kind of ruined it for me. But
do you like Mudkips?
Shut the fuck up, man. Oh, pardon my French. Be quiet, sir. You are offending my favorite Pokemon. But yeah, Medkit, instant choice. It's really cute. Like, look, compare this to this. This wins, and this to that. This looks cool, but this is cute. So instant choice.
Moving on to the Johto starters, before we actually get into any of them, I just want to point out that this is kind of a funny region for me because growing up, I always, as a kid, I always kind of put them up there with the Kanto starters in terms of good design, but looking at them now, after so many generations, well, you know what? Let's get into it. Chikorita, that's for me, it's a pretty simple. Should have been wild. I know there's some people that have a fondness for it. I kind of remember enjoying it more because of the anime, because she had a sassy kind of personality, from what I remember. But it's just one of the most forgettable designs that they've ever done for any of the Pokemon starters. The final evolution is actually nice. It does have like a good evolution tree, but it's still one of those things where it's like it's just so forgettable that I just never bother with, and it doesn't even help that this is actually the worst starter to go with on the Johto games, and it's probably one of the worst starters to go with in any of the games because it's not a very strong Pokemon in battle. Yeah, Chikorita's an easy should have been wild for me.
Yeah, because it also falls into the same issue that Turtwig went into, where it was like overshadowed by its other things, and it just looks like a turnip
Yeah,
and a soft dinosaur, and it doesn't look very tough. So it maybe if it was like a wild Pokemon, I would probably catch it because it would remind me of like Gloom
yeah.
and I don't know, just the grass types you see out in the wild that have that charm, that cuteness that that Chikorita has. So I wouldn't even choose it if I have to. It could have been a wild Pokemon and I would have more respect for it.
Then there's Cyndaquil, which that one's
Maybe. Maybe.
I wouldn't
Hmm?
go instant choice. It's one of those that I'm like I think it's a cute design up front. I do not care for the evolutions. I find the evolutions to be some of the most boring that they've ever done.
What? Typhlosion is so cool. It has like the coolest name in the whole game.
Yeah, but design wise, it's just Cyndaquil but bigger. Um,
Yeah, ever since I found out that the these fire things don't stay on,
yeah.
it kind of maybe give it some thought.
I put it in give it some thought. I was gonna say that it was between if I have to and give it some thought, depending on which version it is. If it's the original one, I put it as the if I have to. But with the Legends Arceus version of it with the where it's a ghost fire type, it actually marked it up not just because it's a cool typing, but because it's at least slightly more interesting in terms of the design. Now that like it's not just like oh the same kind of fire. Like now it's like ghostly flames and
Yeah, the concept was really cool.
so that's my thing. Like, so I do put it as a give some thought just because of the Legends Arceus version. If it wasn't for that, I would have put it in the if I had to because while it is a really cute Pokemon starting off, it just quickly dwindles the second the evolutions come in for me. Like it's never really stood out because they're just like oh it's Cyndaquil but bigger, which not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time it would be nice if there was more going for it, which thankfully I think the Legends Arceus version gave it some more to go with.
I would have had an instant choice if they withheld the fact that the flames aren't always on,
Yeah,
because I think that's the only reason why I liked it and why the design was so interesting. Because the flames are always on it. It looks like a strong Pokemon, a strong fire type. But now with this update, it's like it just looks like a little mole.
yeah.
It's not very interesting. And I think the flames really make or break this Pokemon. So that's why I put it and give it some thought. Otherwise, it would have been an instant choice because of how cool it is with the flames on. But I don't know. Without it, it's lacking.
Yeah, so then that leaves us with Totodile, and that to me is an instant choice of one.
I agree.
It's always been my favorite Pokemon. I liked it, and I know there's some bias because of the anime, because I remember it being like this little Donald Duck sounding Pokemon. But even beyond that, looking at it now, it's still like one that if I just look at these now, I would still instantly gravitate towards. Yes, it's still technically just bigger totaled out by the end, but at the same time, it does give enough in the design to make it more interesting, to where it feels like almost like a mini Godzilla Pokemon for me. So that always works, and it was always great in battles. So yeah, no, my only real downside is that I do feel like, especially with all the years gone by, that it should have gotten a second typing, whether it was like a water dark or maybe a water ice Pokemon, just because Fraligator really does look like it should be more than just the single water type that it is.
That's true. Yeah, honestly, Totodile, he looks like a friend. He's really cute, but he also looks like a really strong Pokemon. Like compared to Chikorita and Cyndaquil, like this is a Pokemon that you'd be instantly just be like, oh, I love this little guy. I really like his depiction in the anime because he looks so quirky and energetic, and I think that's what I don't know. Like his evolution also it was really cool because he looks really strong and he's just overall a solid design.
Which now brings us to Kanto. But before we get into the original starters, we do have the two Pikachu and Eevee. And starting off with Pikachu, I mean, design wise, it would be an instant choice for me. But in game, okay, so here's the thing with Pikachu. One, of course, it doesn't help that all the games that he's the starter in are ones where you have to choose them, whether it's Pokemon Yellow or Let's Go Pikachu. So there's kind of no way to avoid that. Like I said, design wise, it would be an instant choice, but it's never been one of the stronger starters, just because whether it's in Pokemon Yellow or Let's Go Pikachu, I almost always have to end up going into the Pokemon Center the second I finish a battle with it, because it's that weak. Technically, it is a wild Pokemon, and Let's Go Pikachu, and in the other games that it wasn't a starter in. So I don't know. I would go with if I have to on this one, just because one, while it'd be easy to say it should have been wild, its design does of course move it far up, that give it one extra spot. But I can't say that I would put it as an instant choice if I was given a choice to do anything else. And I can't say it's a give it some thought, since yeah, if it was something where I could choose a different starter, I would have.
Yeah, I think for me this is one of the hardest to rank because it's not a fire, grass, or water. It's very unique. It has a lot of nostalgia running on it, considering it's the mascot for the whole series. And I always have a Pikachu on my team in all the games.
Pretty much.
But to kind of have it as like a starter, not really. Because eventually I am going to catch one. I just don't think that this is something I would choose. It would be kind of like a secondary character for me. So that's why I don't have it and give it some thought. But, if I have to, I would get it because Raichu's really cool. Pikachu's really cute. And I don't even think we're talking about Pichu in this sense.
No.
Since he's not even on here.
Yeah,
Pichu, and that's something you have to breed for anyways, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know that with Sun and Moon, I think also with Sword and Shield, I could be wrong on that, but with Sun and Moon, you could easily find a Pichu early on in the wild, which is how I ended up getting it in my team on that one. But yeah, it's just that with Pikachu, like I said, technically it should be in the whole, in the wild, just because that's where it'd be at. But the only reason why I move it up to if I have to is because of all the other positives I have for it. That I'm like, okay, ignoring that fact, I would put it on that just to give it some extra points in that regard. But that's pretty much as high as I'll go realistically.
Yeah, sorry, Pikachu.
Eevee, I probably put in. Yeah, give some thought, or if I have to. And the only reason why I don't give it to it like an instant choice is because, well, I do like all the evolutions that it has. When it comes to Eevee, the fact of the matter is that in the one game that you could have Eevee as your starter, you can't evolve it in any of the other ones. And I know that's technically true for Pikachu as well, but the difference is that with Pikachu, with at least Pokemon Yellow, if you trade it over to someone else and then let them evolve it for you, you could technically have a starter Raichu on your team.
Oh.
But Eevee, you can never actually have an evolved form of it. unless you get one of the ones from the wild, which at that point we're, talking about a wild Pokemon and not the starter Eevee. But the fact of the matter is that Eevee is a very cute Pokemon. And within Let's Go Eevee, they kind of broke him because they had like these various characters that you can find in some of the Pokemon centers who had basically offered it to give it moves, make it really strong that are all based on its various typings. So I would give it would technically be an instant choice, but because it only stays as a normal, I put it as a give it some thought just because of all the other advantages it has.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. I didn't even know you couldn't evolve it when in Let's Go Eevee. Otherwise, it would have been an instant choice.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the fact that it's cute. He's shaped like a friend. He's very versatile when it comes to moves, so he can pick up the slack on your team if you don't have a certain type of Pokemon because of the moves he can learn. So honestly, I'd put him and give it some thought. But since he stays, his normal type, he isn't an instant choice. Honestly, I think I'd rather catch a wild Eevee,
Yeah.
but yeah, give it some thought.
Which then leads to the original cancel starters themselves. And look, for me, when it comes to Bulbasaur, it's an instant choice. Even though if you ask me, back when I was younger, this would be the one that I would put in like the give it some thought or if I have to. But one, it's really good design. Two, even though Venusaur isn't the strongest final evolution in this generation, it still looks very good, consistent design choice when it comes to it going from Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. In game, if any of you have ever played Pokemon Red and Blue, which I did, Bulbasaur is kind of the easiest one to go with, just because for the first three gyms, it's an easy win across each one. But yeah, it's just an overall really great design.
Yup, I think I don't even think Bulbasaur is my favorite Pokemon. I'm kind of biased when it comes to it. That's why I have it in like the top instant choice.
Yeah.
And in the most recent games, his final evolution has the grass poison.
Yeah.
Which really that's fucking awesome.
Well, actually, not even in the recent games. That's actually been a thing since the beginning.
Yo, he had like dual types in the beginning.
Yeah.
She.
Yeah, I know a lot of people often forget because, well, that those first few games were kind of all over the place and some of the choices they made. But yeah, it was always grass poison.
That's beautiful. It's such a useful Pokemon too. Like, not only is it strong, it can also learn like sleep powder and stuff. So you have like a bunch of status effects and the poisoning, and it's strong. It's such a good Pokemon. Like, it's the most reliable Pokemon in this whole list. So it's always going to be number one in the Pokédex and in my heart.
And then you have Charmander, who that's another instant choice for me. When it comes to Charmander, I will admit this is kind of one where it kind of diminished over time because like the most unfair thing that can be said about Gen 1 for me, at least when it comes to these starters, is that since I watched the anime before, playing the games, even though I did play the games, once they came here, I did have the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color, whatever. I kind of gravitated towards Charmander mostly because of its final evolution, Charizard, which is to me like one of the best designs in any of the Pokemon games. So that automatically put a little tune on it. But even removing that, it is a fairly cute design. It's not as cute to the point that if this were coming out today and I just saw the design, that I choose it, I would go with Bulbasaur before I go with Charmander, but it is still a really good design. Like I said, I just love Charizard. There is some bias within the anime as well because he has one of the greatest like character arcs for any of the Pokemon. And it's such a great one. And I know that a lot of people now don't like using it just because in Red and Blue, he is the one that gives you the hardest time within the early run of the game because you don't really get a gym leader that it can stand up against until the fourth gym. But it didn't matter to me as much just because with those early games you could easily just overpower your opponents regardless of typing if you train hard enough, which is what I ended up doing when I would play the game. So yeah, that's an instant choice for me.
Yeah, it is the Pokemon with the best character development for sure. And it added that extra kick to your gameplay because it's kind of like you're playing in hard mode, and it really like puts people in the grind to get it up to a higher level enough to defeat the gym leaders. And I think in the end, like you'd end up with a really strong Charmander at the end of the run. So it's a big plus, and it's really cute. So instant choice.
which it's Squirtle, which this is the one that I'm like, it's a low instant choice. Kai, give it some thought. I still put it in instant choice just because one, Gen 1 is the only generation where I've actually played with all the starters, as in like, played actual runs and not just like, okay, I started up with one of these games just to trade over a certain Pokemon, like one of the starters or anything like that. Like, no, I've played, from beginning to end, red, blue, yellow, Eevee. Like, I've had them all. And yeah, Squirtle's the one that definitely came up the least. When it came to Squirtle, it's just like the least memorable of the three, which is not necessarily a bad thing because you're really putting it up against two very iconic Pokemon. Blastoise is a really great design, and it's kind of funny because apparently that wasn't even originally what it was supposed to evolve into, but they mixed it at the last minute. Because I know there was a leak where it showcased like, okay, before Blastoise became a Squirtle evolution, it originally had its own line. So that the fact that the two mixed so well is kind of funny to me. My only real disappointment with Blastoise, especially with later generations, that it really should have gotten a second typing. I think it should be like a water steel type, especially given that it has the cannons.
Yeah, especially because of that.
But going beyond that, it's still a really good type. It's really good design, and overall it's the least of the first generation, but it's still a really good design overall.
Yeah, honestly, like Generation 1 is the most like overall the cutest design, the most reliable Pokemon, and like the strongest final evolution. Like Blastoise has like the cannons and like Hydro Pump really makes sense. Like the moves that it has at the end, and then Skull Bash. And it's such an interesting Pokemon to play with, especially since it's probably the only Pokemon I use non-offensive moves with as well. Like when he recedes into the shell and your defense goes up.
Yeah.
Like it's so reliable. Like it, it I'm like stuttering because like there no contest. These are like instant choice. Like if I could, I'd probably get all three.
Which you
But
technically could, and
yeah,
Pokemon
if
Let's
you can.
Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and also in Pokemon Yellow. So that's kind of why nowadays I mostly play Pokemon Yellow.
Mm-hmm. It's a good team. It's just no contest. They're good Pokemon. We have like these weird miscellaneous ones at the bottom of like Pokemon spin-offs and stuff. Do you want to rate these too?
No, I mean, look, Teddy Ursa would be a nah man. I mean, it's cute, but it's nothing I'd ever bother getting, even with the recent
Ursaring.
yeah, with the Ursaring or Ursaluna evolutions. Umbreon and Espeon, I mean, Umbreon would definitely be the instant choice for me on that regard, just because it's my favorite of the evolutions. Espeon would be to give it some thought, but I mean, realistically, not anything that I'd take seriously right here, just because.
Do you wanna put these in order? Should we just put these in order?
I mean,
Or do you wanna just leave it like that?
to a certain extent, I mean, I don't know. Just it's kind of hard to rank these specifically, but I guess if I'm going to, should have been wild. And Naman is perfectly fine how there are. If I have to, I would move Papilio to the top, I think, of the bunch. Uh,
Maybe Pikachu next, because he's not bad, but like
yeah, he's not bad. It's just, there's a lot of factors going against that prevents him from going higher. Uh, I think that's fine actually. Looking at it how it is right now,
mm-hmm.
ignore the Espeon. Give it some thought. I would put Eevee probably at the very top just because of how broken it is. Torchic. I don't know if I would switch Torchic with Cyndaquil. Yeah, I would probably put Cyndaquil ahead of that. And then with the two upcoming starters, I would have him at the end since we can't really give him a full opinion on. I think that's fine for that one. And then instant choice. I mean, Fake Coco has to go last just because again it only fair since we don't have that. I would put Rowlet ahead of Grookey, Charmander ahead of Litten maybe, or
These two are like equal, honestly.
yeah, Grookey would definitely go towards the end, maybe right after yeah, I would put it right after Squirtle.
Where the heck is I have to move Squirtle right here.
Let's see.
I think Tortodile might.
Like in my heart, Total Doll would be number one, but I
I
know in
mean, we're
terms of
fighting number one over here.
yeah. Uh,
I think this one between these two monkeys, I think Rookie is better.
I mean, I like Infernape a little bit more, but if we're going based on starters, then yeah, Grookey's cuter and more well designed than Chimchar. So yeah, that's fair. Uh,
I want to fight and put Mudkip before Oshawott, but I don't know if we're going based off of Final Evolutions too.
I don't know. I prefer Oshawott as a design, but I don't know. I guess if you want to put Mudkip ahead, I don't mind either way. It's a tough call on that one.
These are tough because these are all instant choice. They're all favorites, so it's like it's hard.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think?
I think that actually looks good. I mean, if anything, let me take a quick picture of this.
You want me to save and download it?
I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at the end. Yeah, I don't know if you got anything else to say.
Regarding the tier or just in general?
I mean, either or.
Uh, I mean for the tier is like I agree with this. Like I'm not gonna fight you on anything. I think I already fought you before, but yeah, this is a solid tier list right here.
Yeah,
And again, this is all just our opinions. I know everybody has their favorite Pokemon, and maybe it didn't make it to the tier that you wanted it to. But like, come on, it's just our opinion.
not only that, I'm like, look, even though you have Chessman down at the nah man, I still think it's a fine design. I just don't think it's a good starter design, and the fact that so few went below the if I have to ranking should tell you how much we enjoy these. I mean, the fact that Instant Choice has the most Pokemon on it should again tell you how much we like the stuff. I mean, none of these are, for me at least, a full on negative. It's just that if we're comparing it to each other and comparing it to what they are, that's why you got the lower rankings. But it's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still haven't really set up any kind of official dates for the return of I can't believe it's not the mouse as an ongoing series, but I hope this is something that some of you guys like, and who knows, maybe I'll make it a part of the regular series, just to add some variety every now and then.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I am definitely still in the mood of looking for a regular co-host, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, just like it, subscribe, the general stuff. Just get on that. And I don't know if Babi here wants to promote anything.
Oh yeah. I didn't really get to do an intro, but maybe next time. Um, hopefully you have me again on the show. I have a lot of fun co-hosting with you, and hopefully by then I'll have all my social media up. Most likely Babi Whiskey on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. And yeah, hopefully by then I'll debut. I'll have a moving model, so that way you guys don't have to just look at this PNG. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Honestly, it really helps a lot, and it gives us a lot of motivation to keep doing this for you. We just want to entertain.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again next time.
See ya.
Thank you for coming on today. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel where you'll see video versions of these podcasts. And if you just want to listen to them, there's always the option of just following the podcast on their various sites, whether it's Spotify, Podbean, or Apple Podcasts. Whatever you choose, I hope you continue enjoying these. And if you want to support me even further than that, there's always the option of Patreon. With Patreon, even just $1 will get your name on the video versions of this and on other videos that I may do outside of these podcasts. A few dollars more gets you some behind the scenes info, and as this continues to grow, you'll find that there's more perks to it. So I hope you consider supporting me through Patreon as well. In any case, again, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.